Dravid Utkal Bang finishes at Bang, as if Bengal is the border. What is there beyond Bengal? Though a lot of it, Northeast now was part of the Bengal earlier, but still, what lies beyond Bengal was never even considered in the concept of India.
They don't know anything about the Northeast. She was going out during the lockdown to purchase some groceries. The guy came in a scooty and said that, hey, coronavirus.
Yes.
And then he spat on
I do
her.
remember that case, that spitting case.
I'm taking up that case. And there is also no appropriate section to invoke when a person is called Chinki Chowmin, for example, go back to China. So all these kind of things happen.
Our understanding of one nation, everything should be one. We will have to suppress the diversity. Then I'm not for it.
I am also not for one nation. I am from a Naga tribe. So we are a very tribal community and society. But still, when you treat a woman, we don't oogle at them.
Right.
We don't look at them as something, some kind of
object.
Some kind of object. So the way how our men in the Northeast look at our own women are very different. Whenever there is international trade there in Pragati Maidan, you will see only Northeast people. You'll have a Thai stalls, for example. You have a Korean stall. Then you will bring in all the Northeast faces. And then, they'll be dressed like people from that country. And then so you'll entertain. So how do you now recognize, or how do you sensitize that they are also faces like this, which is very much part of this country?
नमस्ते दोस्तों, प्लीज सिट डाउन में आपका स्वागत है। कल्पना कीजिए कि आप भारत में ही हैं, लेकिन आपको भारतीय होने की कोई सिद्ध करने के लिए आपको कुछ सबूत देना पड़ता है। देखिए कि आप भारत में हैं, लेकिन आपको भारत में ही विदेशियों की तरह देखा जाता है। देखिए कि आप भारत में हैं, लेकिन आपको लगातार एक पराई नज़र से देखा जाता है। कैसा लगेगा अगर आपके साथ ऐसा हो? कैसा लगेगा जब आपको पता लगेगा कि अरुणाचल की किसी स्त्री के साथ हिंसक व्यवहार होता है, या मेट्रो में मणिपुर की किसी लड़की के साथ बदतमीजी होती है और उन्हें ऐसे नामों से पुकारा जाता है जो नाम बताते हैं कि ये भारतीय नहीं है। कैसा महसूस होगा? आज कैजुअल टॉक के आज के संस्करण में हम इन तमाम चीज़ों पर गहराई से बात करने वाले हैं। और आज हमारे साथ एक शानदार शख्सियत हैं जिन्होंने अपनी ज़िंदगी के पिछले 2 दशक 2 decades devoted to work on the area of Northeast in this part of the country. हम लोग बात कर रहे हैं आज अलाना गोलमई से। अलाना, आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत है। वेलकम।
Thank you so much, Vijayan ji.
And today's talk will be actually talking Hindi में, अंग्रेजी में. Please ignore the language part, that is not at all important. जो लोग हमारे दर्शक लगातार ये शिकायत करते हैं कि सर आप हर बार हिंदी में बात करते हैं, तो आज हम अंग्रेजी में भी बात करेंगे। अलाना, will it be okay I call you Golmei or Alana is better?
Alana is better.
Alana is better. So Alana भी आज बात करते समय हो सकता है कि बात बीच बीच में अंग्रेजी में या लगातार अंग्रेजी में बात करेंगी, लेकिन ज़्यादा महत्वपूर्ण है संदेश। तो बातचीत को शुरू करते हैं। सो अलाना, अगेन वेलकम टू द कैजुअल टॉक, एंड आई विल स्टार्ट विद अ वेरी बेसिक थिंग, वेरी सिंपल. सी, प्लीज टेक इट लाइक अ मास्टर क्लास फॉर हिंदी पीपल, दैट हाउ दे शुड look at Northeast, and how, more importantly, how they should not look at Northeast. That's going to be the entire purpose of the talk, and we'll be talking about your experiences in this. And just tell me, when you actually reached Delhi, what was the time? When was it when you realized for the first time that you are looked differently here? You when you realized that Delhi sees me differently. What was your most difficult day in that sense when you were in Delhi?
Actually, I landed in Delhi as a young woman. That was in 2005. I don't even speak Hindi because we came from a hill district where we don't even speak Hindi. So coming to Delhi was actually like a culture shock, and everything is so new. But one thing which I find quite fascinating is that back at home, in a market, especially vegetable market, it will be only women who will be sitting there and selling all the vegetables and all. But out here in Delhi, you don't find even a single woman, but only men are selling vegetables. So I was wondering where all the women have gone. So there was actually one kind of, things that I noticed. But it is very challenging. So 2005, I struggled a lot. And then I actually finished my PhD. And then I have come to actually build my dreams. And in Manipur, I came from Manipur. So in my home state, for more than 15 years, appointment was banned. Whether you have a good qualification. You don't get opportunity to get a job. So I have actually left my home state. Then I landed in Delhi. So 2005-6 was not so much because I was also young and I don't really know what exactly is discrimination, what exactly is people coming from different parts of the country are looked at. But from 2007, when I started to get involved with the young boys and girls who are also facing the same kind of challenges, so that's when I realized that there's a lot of gaps and there's a lot of challenges for any young person from the Northeast coming to this kind of either Delhi or other metro cities.
Oh, how do you see? I mean, the way we have built our nation, do you believe that the very concept of Indian nation, the way we build, actually, in a sense, ऐसा लगता है कि उसने नॉर्थ ईस्ट को जो जगह देनी थी वो शायद पर्याप्त तरीके से फुली दी नहीं गई. When we talk about our national anthem, we have Punjab, Sindh, Gujarat, Maratha, or Dravid Utkal Bang. It finishes at Bang, as if the Bengal is the border. And what is there beyond Bengal, though a lot of it Northeast now was part of the Bengal earlier, but still, what lies beyond Bengal was never even considered in the concept of India. Is that the case? And then this alienation about the entire Northeast probably got further reinforced post-independence.
Yes, actually, it is of course sad. It's more than 70 years now. So when we were in schools and we were young, we started singing the national anthem. We never realized that,
there is no money put in it.
Exactly. But then only when you come to this part of the country, in the metro city especially, then you come to realize that, oh, we have been looked at differently. We've been treated differently. They don't know anything about the Northeast. We have not seen any components of the Northeast. If you looked at the textbooks, for example, it's of course now slowly changes are happening. But since the very beginning, nothing was mentioned. So if I'm here, then they would just ask me. See, they ask me if I'm a Korean or Chinese, at least they treated me a little better. But if they started calling me by the name of food, like for example, momo, chow mein, so these are the kind of things that they looked at. So how they see us, I suppose if I'm wearing my traditional clothing or attire, that is also Indian dress, right? I don't have to wear saris or only salwar kurtas in order to look Indian. So, so what makes me look so less Indian? First thing, it is actually the face. My face.
Okay, let us go one by one. So, the face you believe is the starting point of this discrimination, differentiation, which rest of the nation.
This is one of them. This is one of them. Of course, there are so many other components, but this is one of them. Even if you speak very good Hindi, by just looking at your face, you already have perception about the other person.
Biases, prejudices, and stereotypes are already there.
It's already there.
Yes.
So after, it is very sad, after 70 years of independence, I don't think we have done enough in order to sensitize about the Northeast India. So even they won't even know how to name any of the states. But for us, when we were young, we studied about other parts of the country.
One of the favorite questions I've been asking in UPSC mock interviews is, name 3 cities of the Northeast which are not capital cities. And you'll wonder that even the brightest students, unless somebody is coming from IIT Guwahati, even the brightest student will not be able to name 3 cities of the entire Northeast which are not capital cities. So that's been the case. Not knowing enough is the problem, right? Correct. But then let us talk in the concrete terms. You are active. आप बहुत active हैं about the mistreatment of Northeast students in Delhi specifically. Right. What are the kind of cases you encounter on daily basis? What are the cases that worries you? I mean, जिनको देख के आपको लगता है कि ये अभी तक क्यों हो रहे हैं? What kind of cases are there? And is it the same for men and women, or you believe women suffer more?
Yes, actually, of course, almost all the young people who have left their home states and who have come to study in Delhi. Since you're asking about Delhi context, yes, in Delhi, it's actually problems are that, especially they get harassment, exploitation at their workplace. They also get a lot of discrimination and exploitation in their rented accommodation, the food that they eat, the culture, so all kinds of discrimination, stereotyping. again of the Northeast women, because in the Northeast we are just very polite, very hospitable people. We smile. This is something that we do, even if they're strangers. But the smile is not taken in the right way. The
Right.
smile is like we're sending out something kind of inviting. It's like provoking. So that is one thing. If you're a young boy and you wanted to be a little trendy with a spiky hair, with a tattoo in it, then they think that they are a drunkard or a drug addict. And also the entire Northeast is being looked at for, all associating with the insurgents, but which are not. So, so this kind of preconceived notion is already developed, and at the same time stereotyping of the people. So these are things that has been already there. So these are the challenges, because the law enforcement, for example, you go to the police station. That was the first thing when I started this Northeast Support Center and Helpline. A young girl going into the police station, you started to struggle to speak Hindi because you're helping the other victim. They mocked at my Hindi. So these are the kind of thing
So at the end of the day, even the law enforcement apparatus in Delhi or metropolitan is not sensitized enough when it comes to that. But
I'm talking about then. Now, of course,
I've seen that in recent years. I've seen many police women, Delhi police coming from Northeast. At least they appear to be. Do you believe that things are changing, at least in Delhi police thing?
Yes, of course. Things have changed, in Delhi. That's why I'm saying that the then is like, that's how it started.
But maybe the problem in Banaras or in
of course,
UP
in other
might
metro
be even
cities,
better.
definitely, the problem might be the same. But Delhi police is being sensitized to some extent. I myself have started taking classes to Delhi police to talk about the Northeast people and also the Northeast culture. So to some extent, they've been sensitized. So if you compare with Delhi and other metro cities, Delhi has actually changed. If I have to compare now, been working for about the past 2 decades, and I could see that things have changed. Of course, we need to do more. This has to continue. So sensitization is actually very needed. This is a short-term.
Okay, let me ask you directly. There are people who very honestly believe that it is nothing short of racism. What is your take? Will you accept, that it is actually racism, or you'll just, like government, you'll say, nahi, racism nahi hai, it is just not knowing, and that's why only the cultural aspect, or you will, you'll have that kind of a strong opinion that yes, it is nothing short of racism. For example, I've been saying that it is racism.
See, Vijendraji, if there was no racism, in this country, if there was no racism against the Northeast people, the Northeast Support Center and Helpline will not be started.
It will not be required at all.
We don't need it.
Right.
In 2007. We're not even asking for special provisions or special treatment. We're only asking that we all are equal as citizens of the country. So now, I have all the facts. Cases like, for example, let me give you one example of one young Delhi University student during the coronavirus. That was actually, it escalated during the COVID. Now, she was going out during the lockdown to purchase some groceries. The guy came in a scooty and said that, hey, coronavirus. Yes. And then he spat on her.
I do remember that case. That spitting case.
I'm thinking of that case. Yes. Till now it is there.
Yeah, it was in my neighborhood, and I do remember that case. We almost cried on phone because we were not actually visiting each other. And and this is not the only case. There are cases like this. There are very little reporting of such cases. Most of the time, the girls and the victims will hesitate going to the law enforcement, and law enforcement even otherwise might not be very helpful either. So, do you believe that these cases are underreported in metropolitan like ours?
It is underreported, and there is also no appropriate section, to invoke when a person is called Chinki Chowmin, for example, go back to China, So all these kind of things happen. Now that is why when that young girl had to go and lodge a complaint, it has to come under 509 IPC, right? So that's not, yes. So there is no appropriate sections to invoke. So that is why, and if I am coming and saying that suppose the accused, I did not call Chinki, I did not do anything, then from where will you get the evidence to go and prove that that person has discriminated me? So it is not an isolated incident. For example, you see the boy from Arunachal Pradesh, Nido Tania. Yeah. He was actually abused. He was actually mocked at. He was actually called Chinki. And then they mocked at her, they laughed at her because of his hairstyle. which I already mentioned. We wanted to look little trendy, and you have a spiky hair, for example, or you colored your hair. The young people at a young age of 19. And then the person looked at it. So, that kind of demeaning look, is actually itself already shows that. And of course, I've been called names. So these are very much there. So why do we have to wait for another statistics, to prove that there's a racial discrimination, and so we have to work on it? I don't think so. We as an organization...
Okay, let us compare. I mean, with one discrimination we are all aware of in the country. It is called caste discrimination. People are discriminated against certain people because they belong to lower caste, right, as they call it. Right. And that discrimination, because of certain activism, right from Ambedkar, Phule and Periyar, it's been, at least in the psyche, there's an acceptance of the fact that, it exists. But when it comes to racism, do we have that kind of a historicity, that kind of a historical understanding that it is racism, people have fought against it, and it should be abolished? If I ask as a Hindi person,
right,
tell me who are Periyar, Ambedkar and Phule of fight against racism?
I feel the country is so soft about it because nobody talks about it. But for example, let me tell you, for us, we are being under suppression, okay? So suppose when I was young, the armies, for example, so have been suppressing us, and we don't even have a voice. So when I cry, my mom will never tell me that your dad or your brother will beat you. You don't stop crying, not like that. Sipoy, meaning, Sipoy will come and take you. So these are the kind of things that some other external force is already under, above you, and then who will actually come and attack you, or who will punish you. So we grow up in that kind of insecurity environment. So now when coming to racial discrimination that you're talking about, so that since then, what I mean to say was that it's already done. That the segregation, that discrimination have already started. That Northeast is being looked at differently. So I feel like, for example, others are saying that, okay, I'm also being called Madrasi, for example, right? I'm also being called Bihari, and then I'm being discriminated. Okay, so
but you believe that it's not comparable.
It is not comparable. That is what I mean to say.
Yes.
Because for us, we're being called momos. Has there been any one in the country being called other names by the name of...
Yeah, no Bihari is called Litti Chokha.
Exactly.
Right. So I understand that. But then I need to... let's be the devil's advocate here. I come from Hindi thing. हमारे यहाँ Northeast या तो गायब है हमारे लिटरेचर में, हमारे पॉपुलर कल्चर में, हमारी आपसी बातचीत में. Either Northeast does not exist at all, or if it exists, it is because of those stereotypes you mentioned, being separatist, secessionist thing, or culturally very alien, things like that. I just want to bring in this book here. This is Anil Yadav की यह भी कोई देश है महाराज. The very title suggests that the Northeast is some kind of a very alien land where this guy actually reached and was able to. And interestingly, this is one of those few memoirs of Northeast जिन्होंने हिंदी के जो ऑडियंस है, हिंदी का जो पाठक है, जो उसका रीडर है, उसको पहली बार Northeast को, पहली बार तो नहीं लेकिन फिर भी मतलब most importantly पॉपुलर तरीके से Northeast के बारे में बताया. And I was going through this book. When I read it first, I actually liked it, to be honest. Okay, I mean, I would like to admit that I liked it in the beginning. But when my sensitivity grew and I read it again, I realized that it also still carries many stereotypes of that place. One of the major allegations that emerged from this book as well, and also from the otherwise Hindi, is that Northeast के लोग बाकी rest of the India को, mainland India as they call it, your India वाली terminology में देखते हैं. They call it the Indian thing, and they as if they don't consider themselves Indian enough. Do you believe that this allegation holds some water?
Yeah, I think so. Because see, when you know that you are being discriminated, I tell you, how 60% of the young people who are in the metro cities, or especially in Delhi, you have top universities. When they come here, they face all these issues.
Right.
When they go back to their own home states in the Northeast, do they carry, what kind of message do they carry?
Right.
They carried a very negative message.
ठीक है.
Then what else do they do? Maybe, who knows, it might develop some other issues, like maybe they would like to fight for segregation. Maybe they would like to pick up guns. We don't know, right? So because in the mind, when such things, negative things came inside your mind, it penetrated so deep that it's very difficult for the young minds to accept it. So this is also one thing. Then the other one is that, see, yes, some people say that when the other parts of the Indian, also when they go to the Northeast, they are, they face some discrimination. I agree. I mean, there could be some issues where they must be, and that should not have happened. So what we're advocating is that there should not have this kind of discrimination. If I'm going there, if they are coming there, so there should be some kind of equality, right? So such discrimination should not happen. So I feel that, a lot of discrimination that they face from here has a lot of negative impact towards the young people in the Northeast.
Since you're already working in this, what are the suggestions, policy changes you will advocate that, okay, these things are the bare minimum we should do?
See, I don't know, let me just go back to Nido
And
Tania.
also, before we get in, are we talking about an integration where Northeast people will become like everybody else, or you'll prefer them to carry their diversity with them? I mean, it shouldn't be. So are we steamrolling everything to become a typical Indian, which maybe or we actually want to carry what we are already?
Exactly. You have more than thousands of languages and
Right.
the ethnicity. Now, if you look at Northeast, there are more than 200 ethnicities,
Yes.
languages, cultures. We don't
Only
even.
this month I've been to Arunachal State Museum and realized there are tribes. The number of that tribe, I mean, total number of people in that tribe,
Correct.
is less than even my housing society population, right? Maybe there was a tribe, I missed that name, but it was around 1,700 people only.
Okay.
So it means a huge diversity. And if our understanding of one nation is everything should be one, which means we will have to suppress the diversity, then I'm not for it.
I am also not for one nation, one language, when there are two laws already.
Right.
Isn't it? Because you have the AFSPA and all in the Northeast. So anyway, that is why I feel that we should not assimilate. Why should we assimilate? I have been saying that if we're wearing a traditional attire, that becomes an Indian dress. So you looked at the diversity of the people from other parts of the states. So it is not about assimilation, but it is about respecting each other's culture. It's about being proud and the diversity being an asset for the nation.
So, Alana, coming back to what are then policy changes that you are being advocating about?
All right. I would like to take back to the time when Nido Tania was murdered, meaning he was actually beaten and for whatever reasons. So after he died, there was a hue and cry. There was a huge protest in the country, especially in the capital of India. Day and night, all of us, we were protesting. So after that, there was a committee, which is called Besborough Committee.
Yes.
So Besborough Committee was constituted, which is initiated under the Ministry of Home Affairs. So in the recommendations, there are so many. Some major recommendations are also there. And one of them is the amendment of the IPC. That time was Indian Penal Code. So you have 153A, you have 153B, and the amendment is for 153C. So that this is not only for Northeast people alone, but anyone, any citizen of the country is being discriminated because of their racial background. And if there is any racially motivated crime against anybody, then there has to be this section. And then under this, there will be a severe punishment to the perpetrators. So this is actually one of the recommendations.
Do you believe the BNS is able to bring that?
No, I'm not. No, really. It's already done. I mean, you have the BNS, you have. So, and the sections are not changed at all. Nothing is changed.
But then I don't think that fighting against hatred is really a priority for the government. I mean, it's the other way around that the things are going.
Of course, but we who are advocating for it, who have been in the field, who have been with the people, who have been a voice for the people who cannot speak for themselves, who have been fighting for the victims and the survivors. we cannot stop advocating. So that is why the Besbora Committee report has that lots of recommendations, which they actually one or two, of course, few they have also been doing, but many are left out without implementing it. So there is another committee called, which is a monitoring committee, which I'm also one of the members. This is a Supreme Court mandated monitoring committee to monitor the implementation of the Besbora Committee report. So I have my PIL, which is Alana Golmei versus the Union of India. And so in the last month, it was heard, the matter was taken up. And the Union of India has filed a status report. And now it is given for the petitioner to reply to the status report, because they will say that they have done everything, right?
Obviously.
And then letting, who knows, might be infractions. We never know. So that is why we have, through the court, we're doing that. And of course, through the amendment of the
Alana,
ICC. Yeah.
all this discussion and so far, that brings a Hindi person into the role. And do you believe कि आप अब तक जो बातें कर रही हैं, उसमें it appears as if the entire Northeast is a monolithic thing. You're talking about Northeast as one entity.
Correct.
My understanding of Northeast, it may be wrong, I'll be very happy to be corrected here, is that Northeast is not monolithic either, right? It is also like a bouquet. There are many, many diverse cultures, and not necessarily in happy existence with each other. They sometimes fight, they sometimes have, we know what happened in Manipur, what is happening in Manipur and all through. So do you believe that there are dangers of looking at the entire Northeast from in a monolithic way? If there are, what are these?
Yes, actually, it is. There is. That's how they looked at it. That's how they want to be. All right. Let me compare with some of the states who have gone through some issues and problems between communities, which was actually very unfortunate. But don't you think the string is being pulled by the larger people? Right? For, let's say, the central force, for example.
Right.
So are they not responsible, accountable to do something? If you throw some bones in between dogs, definitely, for example, they'll fight. So therefore they should be the people. If you promise something to the other people, right, and then then the other person will see that this is something that then the other rights or whatever that you feel, your identity will be taken away. So there's a lot of insecurity growing, in the minds of the people in the community. So I feel that, and then you have a lack of opportunities when it comes to employment, for example, when it comes to, many people, they don't like to actually leave their home states, right? They have come out because they wanted to have a better life. So, if I looked at it, I feel that they're not serious enough. They're not serious enough to unite the Northeast. They're not serious enough to develop something for the Northeast. We are also really tired of romanticizing the Northeast. You only talk about the mountain, you only talk about the trees, you only talk about the rivers.
As if there are no people.
Exactly. And then now Hornbill Festival is happening in Nagaland. It's for 10 days. I could see that many people are going there. It's good. But the thing is that only, so should be a continuous process of how the representation from the Northeast. How many Northeast faces are there? In the, what you call the so-called mainstream, right? Or the mainland, in a position where they should be supposed to be. Because we're not visible at all.
In all content we consume in terms of movies, in terms of theaters, Northeast is more or less missing. I do remember recently when this Zubeen thing happened, many people in the rest of the country were not even aware of the phenomena called Zubeen.
Correct.
And if you just go beyond the chicken neck and you realize that Zubeen was something different for the entire Northeast. It was different. It was a phenomenon. So I agree. But then I want to take this one step ahead. One is that, okay, Northeast is a diverse place. Within Northeast also, if you talk about, it's not just the geographically or ethnically diverse, but Northeast in terms of, for example, gender. You've been talking about the the discrimination and the all kind of harassment that Northeastern women face here. Northeast is not necessarily, in fact, it is not, is a very feminist place. There are patriarchy is there even in the Northeast.
Of course.
How that Northeast patriarchy is different, because when I talk to my students, they talk about harassment in Delhi in a different way. They believe that in our place, for example, in their own home states, dress was not something that they have to be very careful about. They would like to dress well. They would like to look nice, but that's it. There was no, despite the patriarchy there wasn't this kind of a push for wearing a dupatta or a A type of dress or a B type of dress. They faced it only when they arrived here. They realized, oh, my body is the location of this entire harassment. So how do you believe the patriarchy in Northeast is different from patriarchy in the rest of the Hindi place?
You have actually said it. You have pointed it out, very rightly, that it's like, I think it's all in the mindset. It's all in the mindset, which is very difficult, because I'm not on their side, and I'm not in their minds, or I'm not in their perspective. But comparing that, yes, there's so much of patriarchy. We are a patriarchal society. I am from a Naga tribe, so we are a very patriarchal, community and society. But still, when you treat a woman, we don't ogle at them. Right. We don't look at them as something, some kind of object. Some kind of object. So the way how our men in the Northeast look at our own women are very different. So I do not know, because that they will have to tell here in other parts of the country. When they look at the Northeast women, they looked at, which I've already mentioned earlier, that they looked at it in a very, very different way.
Very demeaning, actually.
Very demeaning. So that is one kind of thing. But yes, of course, if you talk about patriarchy, definitely it is there. Yeah, they do respect women. As myself, we are 2 girls in the family, and I have 5 brothers. How much they love us, you see. And then, of course, my parents and then my older siblings, they really love us. But of course, when it comes to right to inheritance, when it comes to many other decision making and all, of course, we're not included. So there will be a few things that women are not included in the decision making and other things. So the patriarchy kind of system and mindset is there, but not the way how men treat women. The way how men treat women, I would not really like to say this state or that state, but in other parts of the country.
Alana, we talked about Northeast, different regions of Northeast. We also talked about gender. My area of activism and my area of work is primarily with the youth, especially the aspirational youth, as we call it. Let's talk in terms of time. Do you believe that in recent years, the aspirational youth of Northeast, they have changed a bit. Their dreams have changed a bit. There's a rush for certain kind of jobs. There's the problem about the unemployment in that area is really big. What kind of changes do you see in the recent years, maybe a few decades, in terms of the dreams and aspirations of Northeastern young people?
Yes, actually.
I was surprised when I was visiting these places, Silchar or Guwahati or Itanagar and other parts of Arunachal. People were recognizing me. They were reaching to me. And whenever they reach me in any part, I don't feel happy with effect, because it effectively means that these are the people who are watching all those mock interviews and how to become IAS thing, which effectively suggests that their aspirations are now steamrolled or being put into a canon, which rest of the country is also doing.
It has changed. It has changed because I think you have the young, especially the younger generation. Of course, you have the internet. You have the social media. This plays both negative and positive. But so I think many youth have come out from their home state, and then they've also seen the world. So earlier, it is only you have to become a doctor, you have to become an engineer, you have to become a government servant, right?
Right.
These are the only options that is left. Or you, even primary teacher is much, much better than and anybody working in a private sector, even if you earn more, So these are something that we looked at. But now I think awareness has also come. And see, Northeast youth should not be looked at as only somebody who is working in a beauty parlor.
Yeah,
Somebody who is
I
working
actually wanted to
only
come
in
to
a
that
BPO
point.
sector,
Yes, yes,
right?
yes, yes.
Somebody who is only working in a retail or in a food court or restaurants. It's not like that. They are doing so well. Would see many people, in different sectors, whether it is private, whether it is an under central government, they have actually excelled.
Hey,
Yeah.
when and why this stereotyping happened when we talk about this beauty parlor thing? Only last week, I was in Hyderabad with the CEO, I mean, the owner of a very big beauty salon chain.
Mm-hmm.
And when I asked him where you source your workforce from, he very categorically said, for barber thing, we go to the Western UP thing, and for the beauty salon part, we go to Northeast. Do you believe that this kind of stereotyping, one is good in the sense that you people are getting employment, but at the same time, it breeds a lot of racial discrimination?
Yeah, I feel that way, because why would you only go and hunt for only to work in a massage parlor, for example, or a beauty parlor, when there are so many other talented young people, whether you are women or boys, who can
But then
work.
it also kind of make a ecosystem there. The people start dreaming only about this, and which is also a problem.
No, the only thing is that, see, if a person is not educated enough, for example, if you studied up to class 10, okay, or class 8, then that person might have to go only for that kind of option. And also, you see in the BPO sector, for example, there's so many fake call centers where only because as this is also their urgency to get the job. Because when they move out from their home state, and then where do they go? You have to pay your rent, you have to survive for yourself, and especially women, they have to send back money home. So whatever job is being given to them, they have to accept it because they don't have the support system. So this could be one. But if people are from a little bit good background, and then they wanted to study more, and the parents have some at least are okay to support them, then I don't think anybody would like to go and do that kind of. Of course, some may have hobbies, and then some are gifted to do that part, to do that kind of profession. So there should be dignity of labor. And so people, if they prefer to it, if it is choice, then they should go for it. But not to stereotype that in any beauty parlor, it has to be only Northeast women. That should not happen. For example, whenever there is international trade, there in Pragati Maidan, you will see only Northeast people. You'll have a Thai stalls, for example. You have a Korean stall. Then you will bring in all the Northeast faces. And then, they'll be dressed like people from that country. And then so you'll entertain. So how do you now recognize, or how do you sensitize that they are also faces like this, which is very much part of this country, right? And so during many years ago, when the president of China was visiting Delhi, how many Northeast people were stopped to check their ID card?
Yes.
By the Delhi police.
There was already a racial profiling.
Exactly. Actually. You're already doing that. No, that means you're considering us that you are not from this country at all. It is not us who is saying. It is you who is actually treating us this way.
But then what is the way out? Let us have your roadmap to a more just, equitable India.
Yes, it's going to take time.
Yes.
But of course, let us accept the fact that these things happen. Yes, we have been advocating.
So first thing you're saying that we, I mean the rest of the country, need to come out of denial that it is not happening. Let us accept that it is happening. Second, you're saying that it is going to take time. What else? Yeah,
it will. The thing is, you cannot just resolve this issue at one go. There will be long term, short term, right, medium term. So for the short term, awareness should be done. Why can't schools, for example, incorporate it? And then teach the students, tell them about the Northeast.
Northeast, right.
Yeah, teacher training is happening under NCERT, for example. Why don't you bring in,
if you look at,
even if you have books,
right.
If the teacher are not, sensitized enough, then the teacher will never teach.
See, about the teachers, it is interesting. If you look at the Kendriya Vidyalayas and Navodaya Vidyalayas in Northeast, they are considered heart stations. And every teacher who is posted there from the rest of the country considered it as a punishment. And they keep waiting for transfers to come. And they keep they'll be happily bribing to come back to mainland, and
Correct.
that's been the normal thing. If you talk about any Kendriya Vidyalaya teacher or an Navodaya Vidyalaya teacher, so the mainstreaming, this idea, this sensitivity part is there. But then, is there something that we can actually do immediately as maybe a short-term thing, but we need to do it at least to show our intention that we want to move
we have to. We have to, in a sense, like I said, it is not about special treatment. But till the time that the country, realize that, okay, there are also people like this, people who dress like this, people who eat like this, people who look like this are also very much part of this country. Unless they realize this, then, it will take really time. At the same time, to change the mindset is not going to be easy. But yes, at the policy making level, we have, of course, some recommendations. Then they themselves should be the one to advocate. If they're speaking in a platform, then why not mention about the Northeast? Why not mention about the culture? Why not mention about the people? We also need some visibility. Please bring some talented Northeast people. Let them be at the policy making level. Why should be only Kiran Rijiju? Bring more people who will speak for the Northeast.
Okay. We're in the last leg of it. I want to ask you, what is one stereotype that annoys you the most about Northeast?
Being a woman.
Okay.
That annoys me the most is that, no, it may be not even a word, but just by looking at me, oogling at me, I'm being looked at differently. Right. So it is a sexual harassment.
It is.
They think that, we are available. They think that any Northeast women are available and they will be found, which I said, in a massage parlor, will found in a beauty parlor. So this kind of stereotyping the Northeast women for the dress we dress. If I'm wearing a short sleeve, for example, they looked at it in a very different way. So this is really annoying.
It is.
Not taking my smile in the right way.
Right.
Even if I'm a big officer, even if I'm a small person, how they looked at, how they treat is always the same. If I am somebody from the Northeast.
I totally understand that. If I ask you this, what is one thing about Northeast which you wish every so-called mainlander should know?
Oh, of course, that is our nature. We are not, the Northeast people are very talented. We're very creative, talented. Our hospitality is inbuilt in us. You don't need to train them to be hospitable. It is already there. So I wish they understand our polite nature, our kindness, and our friendly nature.
Yeah.
And not misunderstood. They took it in the wrong way. I wish this is reversed.
Good. Alana, the Alana I am talking to was shaped by certain things, right?
Correct.
Your experience. You mentioned about experience. But if I ask in the concrete terms, say in terms of a book, in terms of a movie, or in terms of a theater performance, what shaped you the most? Anyone?
I would a little
because
bit...
to be honest, when we Hindi people, when we talk about Northeast, we don't have much literature. I totally admit that we may have a few memoirs. Otherwise, we are in a dark. I'm teaching in the university for 20 plus years. I've got my PhD. I've worked on Hindi literature a lot, and it is absolute blank. There's one book by Krishna Chandar, which is about Arunachal ki Yatra, and there's one book by Anil Yadav, which is about Northeast memoirs, and we don't have anything about Northeastern culture, maybe a little bit about Assam, Bengal thing in Tagore or Sharat Chand, but not really the Northeast. So what is one book that shaped Alana the way Alana is today? Book or a movie?
Actually, the way who I am was shaped in a different phases of time. So initially, it was not a book, but it was actually my experience of working with the refugee women, and also my experience of working with the young.
Give me one anecdote or a story which you believe impacted a lot.
I actually talked to the young women, the refugee women who have actually come to India, who fled their country, and they broke down and cried when I was working as a research coordinator. So that was the turning point in my life. And then also, of course, in my left hand are the issues for the Burmese refugees. The right one was for the Northeast people. So that was actually the time. But in the process of now,
when you talk about these Burmese, the Myanmari refugees, the way you talk and the way rest of the country talk about them, I hope you understand there is a difference of empathy, right?
Yes, I got it.
And I'm so grateful that you actually mentioned it, because nowadays it has become difficult even to mention it. So what is your take on the Myanmari people, the Rohingya refugees or the other refugees coming from Myanmar? Do you believe that we should be more accommodating to them? Only yesterday, Home Minister announced about Bangladeshi minority people. Do you believe that we need a few policy changes there?
I feel that when you say a few policy changes, I think you can regulate it. I understand that India does not have a refugee policy. Yes, it has to do with so many things, but they can regulate it. But till the time that the country is not all right, till the time that they can be here, I think for humanity, as pertaining to humanity, I think they should at least accommodate them for some time. I don't think they're going to stay here forever. Whoever that I am working together, I know, because I've learned and I read their story. So I feel that we should be a little more kind to these people who are here. And of course, I would like to mention that, and in my journey of becoming a lawyer, I read a book of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And she is really, really like my idol. And I looked up to her because, and I've also watched her movie On the Basis of Sex. Right. And the books and also the movie I've watched. So that has really inspired me. And the way how she struggled.
Let's talk to the lawyer, Alana, now. We've been talking about it. And what is one law against discrimination that you believe India urgently needs? I
think I've already mentioned about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you believe that we should have a comprehensive law against all kind of hatred, especially on the basis of backgrounds?
Yes.
Be it racism, be it religion, be it anything.
We should have. We're not asking only for Northeast alone.
That's true.
Any law or whatever that I'm mentioning about that amendment of the IPC 153C, and now it will be BNS if we have to. That should be one law which should apply to all the citizens of this country, so that any person who are coming to the Northeast are discriminated, the law will apply. If we are coming here, then if anything happens to us based on our race, based on our looks, our culture, then the same will apply. So I think we need this. I understand that sometimes we don't follow, we're not afraid of law, but at least if this is there, I feel there we can set some deterrent.
Right.
Yeah.
Alana, I want to end the entire conversation on the note of hope. And I don't know whether you have realized it or not. I mean, I've been taking those interviews for many, many years, and I want to point it out. Despite all the dismay, all the bitter experiences you have, and your experience during the activism, we all have different kind of experiences, and we feel a little bitter about the way things are in the country. But still, there is a hope. And this hope emanates, for me, for example, it emanates from, you're a lawyer, you'll understand, from a book called Into Constitution of India. We, despite so many problems, pin our hope in this book that it is because of the Constitution we are still able to at least talk about it. We are able to hope about it. What is your ray of hope? For me, it is Constitution of India. What's yours?
Actually, there are many things, if I have to say, I hope for. Yes, it is one of them. I go with you with the Constitution of India. Whenever I go, wherever I go.
This is despite the fact that even the Constitution of India, if you look carefully, apart from those special sections, very little of Northeast is represented in Constitution of India.
Correct.
Right. But then still.
If it applies to the entire citizens of the country, then definitely we'll also come under it. Right. So I hope for it. We do have our law. We have a good law, the best laws in the country. We have the Constitution. We have certain other guidelines. We have certain acts like the POSH Act, the POXO Act, for example. Yes. So we have provisions, which is actually, for us, if we use that effectively, I still hope for it. And mostly when I go to the court, I'm for the prosecution, because it is against the state, and I help the young women and the children who face problems, and also especially the survivors. So if I do not have hope, why would I continue to assist them? Right. If I do not have hope in the law of the country, law of the land, if I do not have hope in the constitution of the country, then I would have stopped my work.
Right.
That's the continuation of my work. And I'm trying to grow from strength to strength so that I can continue to help the people and build a better nation. If I do well, it is for the country.
Thank you, Alana, for saying it all. And I've learned a lot in this whole conversation, in the whole session. And I'm sure हमारे जो दर्शक हैं उन्हें भी कई सारी महत्वपूर्ण चीजें पता लगी होंगी. आपको पता लगा होगा कि उत्तर पूर्व से आने वाले लोगों के लिए शब्दों का इस्तेमाल करना, जिनकी बात अलाना ने अभी की, वो कितना गलत है. आपको ये भी पता लगा होगा कि हम जिस सोशलाइजेशन के प्रोसेस से तमाम हिंदी का जो जगत है, हिंदी बोलने वालों का, हिंदी भाषियों का जगत, वो कैसे पूर्वग्रहों को, प्रेजुडिसेस को, बायसेस को अपनी नई पीढ़ी में आने देता है. और इसलिए उसके प्रति जागरूक होना, डिनायल से बाहर आना और बराबरी के लिए, सम्मान के लिए, डिग्निटी के लिए काम करना कितना जरूरी है. Thank you, Alana, for being here.
Thank you so much for having me here.
I enjoyed it. Thank you.